You should never lower your DJ rate. Don't even think about doing it. I get it. You want to stay busy. You don't want to lose the client. And sometimes you just think to yourself, well, something's better than nothing. But trust me, lowering your rates is one of the worst things that you can do. Let's get into it. I'm not saying every client on a budget is a nightmare, but from my experience, the people who try to negotiate with your price are never clients that you actually want to work with. When someone's booking a DJ purely based on price, they don't actually care who the DJ is. They aren't hiring you because they respect your skills or your experience. They just want a warm body behind the booth to play music for cheap. And I've been down this road before. When I first started DJing, I took all the events I could just to stay busy. And I always found that the events where I charged the least amount of money, I actually had to work harder to keep those clients happy. Not only do they give you hundreds of songs on their must playlist and do not playlist, but they also love to just blow up your inbox with emails for months and months leading up to your wedding. Constantly asking you questions, constantly adding last minute details or, stupid shit all the time. And it's probably because they're trying to save money on their event and didn't end up booking a wedding planner, which just puts more work on the DJs and the rest of the other vendors at the wedding. And on top of all that, they're also more likely to leave you a bad review over the smallest thing. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. The moment clients realize that you'll lower your rate just to get the gig, they'll never take your rate seriously ever again. And honestly, neither will you. At that point, your DJ rate really isn't your rate. It's just your starting price for negotiation. And this actually happened to me a few years ago. I took a gig at a discounted rate just because I was a little light on the events for the month. I took a pretty big discount too. It was like $1,000. I don't know why I did that, but just bear with me. A few months later, the bride's sister reaches out and asks me how much I DJ for her wedding. I told her my full rate and she was cool with it. Everything was good. She was this close to booking until she found out how much her sister paid just a few months earlier. Before that, price wasn't an issue, but now she's emailing me, asking me for discounts, and asking me to justify the price difference. It was a headache, and at the end of the day, she didn't end up booking. So because I took a discount on one event, I lost another. Not because they couldn't afford me, but because they knew that a discount was a possibility and I wouldn't give it to them. Once you become the discount guy, it's hard to get out of it. And honestly, DJs are already undervalued compared to a lot of other wedding vendors. You got photographers, videographers, and even the wedding planners are out here charging more, sometimes twice as much as what a DJ charges. And on top of that, websites like Wedding Wire are literally encouraging couples to find ways to cut costs on the DJ. They tell couples to shop around for cheaper DJs. They even mention that DJs often offer discounts like it's expected of them. And the reason that they think this is because too many DJs lower the prices just to get the gig. And I'm sorry, but if you're one of those DJs, you're part of the problem. I was part of the problem a couple years ago. You're making it easier for clients to devalue DJs by showing them that price is always flexible. And that's why DJs are still getting underpaid compared to a lot of other vendors. So when you lower your price, you're not just hurting yourself, you're making it harder for other DJs and future you to charge what you're worth. Now, before someone jumps in the comments and says,
"But Justin, other businesses adjust their prices all the time."
Yeah, of course they do. Hotels, airlines, they do it all the time during the holiday season. And DJs can do it too, but strategically. If it's a Saturday during peak wedding season and it's a super high demand date, you should definitely be charging top dollar. But if it's a random Tuesday in February, maybe you can offer a better rate. Not because you're desperate, but because it's a day that you probably wouldn't get booked otherwise. When you do that, you're basing your rate off of supply and demand, and that's just business. But most DJs do not use dynamic pricing, they use panic pricing. They might see a couple open dates or their calendars just overall looking a bit thin, and they start freaking out. So they start slashing their prices, hoping to get anything on the books. That's not a strategy. That's just called being desperate. If you've booked at your rate before and it's in line with the rest of the DJs in your market, your price might not be your problem. And it's probably just your marketing. Because high-paying clients aren't out here looking for the cheapest DJ. They want a DJ that actually is worth the money that they're spending. If people keep telling you, you're too expensive, that's not a sign to lower your prices. It's a sign that you're not attracting the right client. Every time you take a low-paying gig, you're giving up more than just a night of work. You're giving up time that you could have spent doing something else. That could mean spending time with family, going out traveling, taking a weekend off, or even just reinvesting in yourself as a DJ. The more time you spend grinding at lower paying gigs, the less time you have to actually improve yourself as a DJ. You're not practicing, you're not refining your skills, you're not working on your brand or your business. You're just working to stay busy at that point. And here's the thing, staying busy isn't the same thing as making money. If you charge $1,500 for an event and you do 60 events a year, that's $90,000. But if you charge $2,500 and do 40 events a year, that's $100,000. You're making $10,000 more for working 20 less events. You're making more money, you're working less, you're actually enjoying what you do as a DJ instead of feeling like you're grinding all the time. Another mistake that I see a lot of DJs make is locking themselves into super low paying gigs really far in advance, like 1 or 2 years in advance. Not that long ago, wedding clients used to book between like 9 and 12 months before their event, and that was completely normal. But lately, more and more high budget clients have been booking closer to their event date. And I'm talking like 2 or 3 months before the wedding. And what's funny is these last minute clients, they're not price shopping. They're not spending months comparing DJs to save a few $100. They want the best available DJ and they're ready to pay full price. Now, if you've already filled your calendar a whole year in advance with a bunch of low paying events, you're essentially screwing yourself over out of all these high paying last minute bookings. And one more thing, you gotta remember that inflation is a real thing. Gas is more expensive. The cost of equipment is going up. Hell, even a McChicken isn't even $1 anymore. So why should DJs be the only ones not raising their rates? If you're charging the same price you were 3, 4, 5 years ago, you're actually making less money now. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: charge what you're worth and don't budge. The clients who truly value your skills as a DJ will find the budget for you regardless of what you charge. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Have you guys ever lowered your rate for a client? And as always, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.